My name is Linda, and for most of my life, I believed being a good wife, mother, and grandmother meant always putting everyone else first. I was the woman who answered every phone call, helped with every problem, and showed up whenever someone needed me. If my family needed money, time, advice, or a place to stay, I was there. But at 63 years old, I learned a lesson that took me decades to understand. Love does not mean losing yourself. For years, I lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio, with my husband, Robert. We had been married for 38 years. Like any marriage, we had good moments and difficult seasons. We raised 2 children, worked hard, paid our bills, and built a life together. I was proud of the family we created. But somewhere along the way, I became the person everyone expected to sacrifice. When my son and his wife needed help buying their first home, Robert and I gave them money from our savings. When my daughter went through a difficult divorce, I opened my home to her for almost a year. I never complained. I told myself, that's what family does. And I still believe helping family is a beautiful thing. But there is a difference between helping someone and allowing them to forget your value. That difference took me a long time to see. After retirement, I started noticing small things. My son would call only when he needed something. My daughter would ask me to babysit her children, but rarely asked how I was doing. Even my husband started assuming I would handle everything around the house. Linda, can you take care of this? Linda, can you call them? Linda, can you fix this problem? Those words became part of my everyday life. One afternoon, my daughter called me and asked if I could watch her children for the weekend because she and her husband wanted to take a short trip. I had already promised myself I would finally spend time working on my garden and relaxing. But before I could answer, she said, "Mom, I really need you. You always help me." That sentence stayed with me. Not because it was kind, because it made me realize something. They didn't see my help as a gift anymore. They saw it as an obligation. That evening, I sat on my porch, looking at the flowers I had neglected for months. I thought about all the times I ignored my own needs because someone else needed me. I thought about birthdays I missed, hobbies I abandoned, and dreams I kept postponing. I had spent so many years proving I was useful. But I wondered, when was the last time someone simply appreciated me? A few days later, my family gathered at our house for Sunday dinner. Everyone was laughing and talking, but I noticed something. Nobody asked me how I was feeling. Nobody asked about my plans. Nobody asked what I wanted. Then my son casually said, "Mum, we're thinking about having the kids stay with you more often. It would really help us save money." Everyone continued eating as if it was the most normal thing in the world. I looked around the table. The people I loved most were making decisions about my time without even asking me. For years, I had been afraid of disappointing them. I was afraid they would call me selfish. I was afraid they would think I had changed. But sitting there, I realized something important. Maybe I hadn't changed. Maybe I had finally started respecting myself. After dinner, I went into my bedroom and opened an old notebook. I began writing down all the things I had been afraid to say. I need time for myself. I cannot always be available. My feelings matter too. The next morning, I made a decision that would change the way my family saw me forever. I picked up my phone, called my children, and told them I needed to talk. But I had no idea how they would react when they heard the words I had kept inside for years. When my children arrived that weekend, I could feel the tension before anyone even sat down. My son looked concerned. My daughter looked confused. They were used to me agreeing. They were used to me making things easy. But this time, I had prepared myself. I took a deep breath and said, I love both of you more than anything in this world. I will always be your mother. But I need you to understand something. I cannot continue living like my entire purpose is solving everyone else's problems. The room became quiet. My daughter looked surprised. Mum, are you saying we take advantage of you? I thought carefully before answering. I'm saying I allowed myself to become someone everyone depended on, but nobody checked on. Those words were difficult to say, but they were honest. My son crossed his arms and said, We never meant to make you feel that way. I know, I replied. I don't believe you wanted to hurt me, but sometimes people don't realize they are taking too much until someone finally speaks. For the first time in years, I stopped trying to make everyone comfortable. I explained my new boundaries. I would still help when I could. I would still be there for my family. But I would no longer cancel my plans every time someone asked. I would no longer feel guilty for saying no. I would no longer measure my worth by how much I could do for others. At first, it was difficult. My daughter became quiet for a few weeks. My son stopped asking for favors as often. And honestly, that hurt. There were moments when I wondered if I had made a mistake. But then something unexpected happened. I started finding myself again. I joined a local gardening club. I reconnected with old friends. I started painting again, something I loved when I was younger but had forgotten. I realized I wasn't abandoning my family. I was finally including myself in my own life. Months later, my daughter came to my house one afternoon. She sat beside me in the garden and said something I will never forget. Mum, I think I understand now. I thought you were always happy helping us. I never realized you were tired. I smiled and said, Sometimes the people who love us most need us to teach them how to treat us. She apologized. Not because I demanded it. Not because I punished her. But because my boundaries gave her the chance to see me differently. Even Robert changed. One evening, he looked at me and said, Linda, I think I forgot that you had dreams too. That sentence meant more than he knew. Because for years, I had felt invisible. But I wasn't invisible. I had simply been standing in the background of my own story. Today, my family relationships are stronger than they were before. Not because I gave more, but because I finally respected myself. I still help my children. I still love my grandchildren. I still care deeply about my family. But now, I understand that a loving heart also needs healthy boundaries. A woman can be kind without being forgotten. A woman can be generous without being used. And a woman can love others while still choosing herself. For years, I thought saying no would push my family away. Instead, it taught them how to come closer with more respect. Because sometimes the greatest gift we can give people is not another sacrifice. It is showing them our true value. If this story touched you, please comment and subscribe. I have one question for you. Have you ever had to set a boundary with someone you love? Let me know your answer below.